another season of the Kansas City Leaders. I'm really excited to be here today with Steve Sirois, who is an entrepreneur, a military veteran, a founder of the Callsign Brewery in North Kansas City, and an all-around pretty cool guy. And he's got a podcast he's going to tell you about here in just a little while. Steve, thanks so much for coming on the KC Leaders today.
No, thank you.
So, Steve, background a little bit. I want to know how you ended up in Kansas City. I know you were in the Air Force. Tell me a little bit about your story and your history. How did you end up here?
Well, the quick Reader's Digest version of that, being in the military, joined in 1990, and I became an enlisted aircrew member in 1993 with the active duty Air Force on AC-130 gunships. Throughout my career, I wound up moving several times. Was stationed down at Hurlburt Field, Florida, and got out of the active duty after Kosovo in 99. Went to Long Island, New York as a flight engineer on rescue helicopters with the New York Air National Guard. And from there, I bounced around because I couldn't find work in Long Island. And the railroad picked me up and put me in Wichita, Kansas. I went from Long Island, New York to Wichita, flew on KC-135s as a boom operator in Wichita. Then I got promoted from being a locomotive engineer to being a supervisor, and they put me in California. So I went back to helicopters in California. So kind of like the military was following me around. And then I got promoted again with the railroad, and they made me a locomotive engineer instructor and put me here in Kansas City. And when that happened, then I went from flying as a flight engineer on helicopters again to being a C-130 flight engineer up at St. Joe with the Missouri Air National Guard.
Okay. So kind of a winding road to end up here a little bit.
That is correct.
So you joined the Air Force in 1990.
Yes.
Were you involved in the first Gulf War?
Just missed that.
Okay.
I was at the tail end of that with Provide Comfort in Turkey.
Got it.
In 91. But I was involved with a lot of stuff in Bosnia.
Yeah. The peacekeeping operation in Bosnia Herzegovina at that kind of time.
Correct. And saw some action in Kosovo in 99.
Got it.
When I was on helicopters, I spent some time in Baghdad in 2003 with Air Force Search and Rescue. And since then, also on tankers and C-130s back and forth to the desert for Operation Iraqi Freedom and Enduring Freedom.
Okay. So right now, you've had this kind of pretty elaborate military career, and then you decided to start Callsign Brewing.
Yes.
So why don't you give me the idea of how do you shift from active duty military to doing various different operations in more of a civilian capacity to right now, you are now an entrepreneur.
Correct.
You don't just run a restaurant and bar, but it's a brewery. So tell me about that.
You know, it came down as a complete accident, really. I wasn't looking to open up a brewery at all. It was, at the time, just fun. Brewing beer. And back in 2011, my family at the time for Father's Day got me a 1-gallon beer brewing kit. It was a brewing kit that came in a jug. It was from Williams-Sonoma. Only God knows how old that grain was. You made it on your stovetop. Came out like mud. I mean, it was not drinkable at all. But, you know, I was still kind of intrigued. It's like, okay, so I like craft beer. Back in those early days, I wanted to actually do a podcast called American Brewed about breweries across America. I shot 2 episodes and nothing came about it.
Sure.
And so with that 1-gallon beer brewing kit, after it was made, it was like, you know, I could do this. And then I started reading books, met some friends that knew how to brew beer, got a very, very basic 5-gallon homebrew kit. And 5 gallons is typically the normal homebrew size.
Sure.
Made some more beer. Read some more, learned some more. And it was this vicious cycle of being able to make this beer better and better. So after every batch, you know, you're getting more experience. Okay, that temperature was too cold. You learn what the off flavors are. This was too warm. These hops didn't cut it right. I want a little more hoppy. So you get to know what hop notes are and hop flavors, what grain does, the whole fermentation process. Anyways, Me and my best friend Morris and I used to fly on the KC-135 together with the 18th Air Refueling Squadron out of McConnell Air Force Base back in the 2000s, early 2000s. And he and I learned how to brew beer together. And it was back in 2013, 14, 15 time frame that we were actually really making some decent beer. And we were part of this brew club, and we would go do events and with our brew club where homebrewers could actually showcase their beer. And one year in 2015, we wanted to separate ourselves from the homebrewers and kind of do our own thing. And we were trying to figure a niche garage brewery name to come up with. And we were brewing 2 beers out of the 4 beers we were bringing. And nothing kind of clicked. So, instead, I was talking to Morris about my military career. And we were brewing beer. And we started shedding tears over the people that we've lost over our military careers. And we were brewing our very first batch. And Morris goes, hey, why don't we do something that honors veterans? Matter of fact, let's make this beer and name it after a call sign. Let's do something for that tanker that McConnell Air Force Base lost 2 years prior in 2013 in Kyrgyzstan. So Shell 77 Imperial IPA was born that day. We started brewing the second beer. And Morris was telling me all about his losses during his military career. And after that, it's like, why don't we just name all of our beer after call signs, and let's call it Callsign Brewing, and let's take it a step further, because we kind of, if somebody needs help, it's like we're veterans, we're brothers and sisters, so let's help them out, and let's come up with a mission statement about, because beer is a great segue to conversation. If somebody just starts breaking down, let's point them in the right direction. Let's at least give them phone numbers. Let's put them in touch with the VA. So here we are. 2 months later, we got labels for the 4 beers. We have a mission statement about helping people with PTSD, our logo, and the American flag. And here we go. 3 things happened that day that made us kind of decide to turn this into a legitimate business. First thing, there's 6 Army guys that get up to our table, and they work their way to the front, get their 4-ounce sample. They're looking at everything. Our logo has the face image of a C-130. And, military guys, well, I know exactly what that is. It's a C-130. Let's see what this brewery is all about. And they get to the front. They read our mission statement about PTSD. Back of the line. Work their way to the front, back. They're sitting there for a while just drinking our beer, kind of soaking it in. And after about a half hour, the older gentleman out of the group comes around the table. He just stared at me right in the eye. And he's like, what you doing here? Thank you. This means a lot to me, because nobody remembers these names. And this means a lot. So thank you. Hugs me. And he backs off, and then he literally shedded a tear, and then just renders a slow salute. Turns around and walks away, never to be seen again. I was like, wow. Morris damn, did that really happen? That guy's got his own story. We don't know what his story is, but this kind of affected him. Hopefully in a very positive way. Oh, okay, that was pretty emotional. Well, about a half hour goes by, and this guy comes up. And I had 2 lines of 10 people apiece, and he pretty much bullies his way to the front line, and he's all excited. He's like, hey, I understand that you got stories about your beers. It's kind of rude. I do. So I started, I was telling him about one label. He's like, no. Tell me about this one. So he picks up another one. And our label at the time had a stencil drawing of the aircraft that we were representing, the call sign of it, the names that were involved in that crash. It's like, tell me about this one. Oh, okay, that's Komodo 11. It's named after a rescue helicopter that crashed in Afghanistan in 2003. Started telling the story, and then I look up, and he's got his hand over his face, and he's like, no, dude, just stop right there, man. I know the story, man. My wife was on it. Whoa. Is Tamala Archuleta your widow? It's like, yeah, she was the co-pilot. And we got to hear the story about the whole knock on the door and what he ended up going through, and listen to him for a while. And his son, which was 15 at the time, gives me a hug. He's like, thanks. Nobody's done anything for my mom since she died. This means a lot to me.
So for the listeners out there who aren't familiar, the knock on the door, is that when somebody comes and tells you?
that knock on the door, that's the dreaded knock on the door when your loved one has been killed. Yeah.
So that's, I mean, somebody comes and knocks and delivers a letter, or what is it?
It's not a letter. Nowadays, it's not like during World War II where it would be a Western Union
a telegram or something.
Postcard, yeah. This is when chaplains and people from that unit or some military member with a chaplain go to the door. They're normally dressed in their Class A's to deliver the news.
Got it.
And got to hear that story from his perspective. Right? And then after that, he told his story. We chatted for a while, and then he left. And it's like, wow, man, I honestly didn't know how to act.
Yeah.
And probably about a half hour later goes by, and another guy shows up. And this guy was an Air Force fighter pilot, flew A-10s, and once again, he saw our logo with the C-130 on it. He's like, well, yeah, there's an airplane on it, a military airplane. We've got to check this out. Man, this better be like a full-fledged, operation with these homebrewers. And sure enough, it is. We get at the front of the line, and this is where the world gets small and then even smaller. This is wild. So we get into the conversation about, what we're doing and why we're there. And he, it turns out when he found out that I was flying on helicopters in Long Island, New York, his father was my commander when I was there. So, Colonel Stacks was my commander, and we got into, I think it kind of blew my mind. It's like, wow, you're his son. Holy crap. So we started talking about, the guys that he grew up with, which were the same guys that I flew with in Long Island. That's kind of cool. And then he happens to look down and sees that label, the same label that we were just talking about, Komodo 11. And at the time, it was Komodo 11 Brown Ale. That was our dedication.
Yeah.
And he just goes quiet. He's like, staring at that label. He goes, hey, man, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go get my wife. Okay. I'm not sure why you're going to bore her with this, but yeah, I'll be right here. He goes, wait for it. He ran and got her, came back 5 minutes later, gave her that label. She just starts shedding tears. She goes, oh, my God, that was Jason's helicopter. That was Callsign. There's Jason's name. Man, were you Jason Hicks' widow? She looks at me with these big old blue puppy dog eyes. She goes, yeah, yes, I am. Did you know him? Ma'am, I went to flight school with him back in 2000. I did know him. Wow. Two people from the same crash in Kansas City at the same time. Unheard of. It's kind of like, your Uncle Tom and somebody's Aunt Bethany in a bus crash in Alaska.
Yeah.
I mean, it is that flippin' random.
Yeah.
And we got in the conversation with her about the whole knock on the door and what she winded up going through. And after that, when they left, it's like, man, I was like emotionally spent. And Morris is like, yeah, that's really weird. Well, what do we do? Hell or high water, man. Let's make this happen. Let's actually make a brewery come up and name our beers after call signs and help people. PTSD is a big thing.
Yeah.
PTSD and TBIs, still there's not a lot of treatment options for it, and a lot of people are suffering from it. And this stems back to Vietnam, even before Vietnam, but right now it's more prevalent. And I'll tell you why here shortly. But for the most part, let's do our part. Let's make something happen. And we got the gears in motion, and we got a small grant. We won a contest where they gave us a little bit of money to help the construction for the first location, for the primary location. When we started building, it was on the shoulders of veterans. So people saw the mission. I had a fundraiser, not a GoFundMe. It was I can't remember.
But you raised money.
But I raised almost $30,000. So shoestring budget, raised some money, got some grants, made it happen. Opened up on Gentry in North Kansas City.
Yeah.
And from there, we opened up our doors with a 10-barrel system. And our first year, we did our first annual service dog fundraiser with, I believe it was Missouri Patriot Paws. And it's $2,500 for one dog. And that takes care of all the vet bills, the food, the training, and all that. So we were sponsoring William and his dog Atticus, and William was there. I got to talk to William, and he didn't look like he was 100%.
Yeah.
Retired police officer, but suffering from PTSD. And talking to him, he's like, I barely get out of bed, but I got to train with this dog once a week, otherwise I won't get him. But hopefully this dog gets funded so I can actually keep the dog. And long and behold, we didn't only raise enough money for Atticus, we raised enough money for 2 dogs that day.
Sure.
And so William got Atticus, and 100% paid for by Callsign.
Got it.
And 6 months later, I'm at Walmart changing some items, and a guy shows up behind me with a service dog. He's like, "Hey, cool, sir. You mind me asking, your service dog was provided by Battle Buddies, Fish, what's the story here?" He looks at me, smiles, he takes his hat off, he goes, "Steve, it's me, William." Whoa, no kidding. Didn't recognize him. And we got into talking about, what the dog did for him. And he's like, people just think it's just a dumb dog. And, I wasn't going to fix myself. I needed something to take care of. And I know it wasn't going to fix me 100%, but I needed help to start the healing process. And Steve, let me tell you, that the dog did it for me. In fact, to be honest with you, Steve, a couple of weeks before I got that dog, I had a 9mm up to my face and I almost pulled the trigger. And I didn't. I decided to wait until I got the dog and see what happens. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad. And don't worry about me now, Steve. That's what he says. He goes, "I'm okay. I feel good. I look good. And this dog saved my life. Thank you for saving my life."
So it's kind of interesting. Again, it started off with a home brewing kit.
Yes.
Which I don't know if that's a good holiday gift for anybody out there or not. I guess it's a labor of love.
Well, yeah,
you got to stick to it for several years before you eventually make it palatable. So you did that. And then you had these veterans come up. You had this, it's the fraternity, the brotherhood, sisterhood that you have with all these people. And then you felt kind of inspired to move forward. You opened up, you raised money, you started the brewery, which, by the way, is a business, which I do want to say it's in North Kansas City. It's called Callsign Brewing. It's a good place. And y'all just opened up your own kitchen. So you're doing your own food. And
correct.
Stuff in the kitchen
right now. We've had other people do our kitchens for us. We had food trucks in there, Fox and Fire and Wolfpack Barbecue, which those guys did an awesome job.
Yeah.
We had some other food trucks in there, not so much. But we decided finally, it's like, let's just do our own kitchen. It's going to be a huge pain in the butt, but for the most part, it kind of needs to happen. So we have control of it. And we've got the Callsign kitchen now.
I've heard that's actually doing. I mean, it's brand new, but I've heard y'all have had really good response on it.
Very, very good response.
So that's cool.
The chef is so she started cooking with the United States Navy. She was on the USS Nimitz for several years.
Okay,
that's where she started her cooking career. And the Navy takes her culinary very, very seriously. Yep. And then after that, she studied abroad. Some colleges, I think, in France, and she's opened up a couple places. From what I understand, help people out with opening some places. And now she's with us, and she is dynamite. And I love this girl to death. And she's. We have typical bar food, which is not really typical. Is good.
Yeah. Because
the burgers are handmade. This is all handcrafted. It's not just the frozen crap that you get from those companies. The burgers, hey, she was in there freaking actually making the burgers herself. So yeah, it's very, very, very good response.
I would look at it as it's like it's a restaurant. It's not just a bar now. It's like you can go there and you're getting upscale food.
We don't like the stigma of being called a bar.
Mm-hmm.
Tap room is what we like.
Okay, tap room. Okay.
Because when it comes to craft beer, I'm not snooty. I'm not a beer snob. I'm a beer enthusiast.
Sure.
But we like to call it tap room because at a bar, you got, we do have some hard liquor, some mixed drinks and stuff. But
sure,
our main thing is craft beer, so we like to call it a tap room.
Got it.
But that's just my personal.
So it's a tap room in a restaurant. So just understanding you're not just going to get regular bar food there. But I want to touch on the charitable things y'all have done. So you've been involved with getting service dogs for veterans.
That is correct. Matter of fact. This April, we have another dog graduation.
Got it.
And our contributions through events, raising money for them, we are up to 30 dogs sponsored with these companies.
Oh wow.
Yeah, 30.
Wow. So you've got 30. That's
Yes.
pretty impressive.
And that's just
It really is.
pretty much half of what we've done. Callsign Brewing, it's not about the beer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the beers do have to still be good, but it's about the people.
Sure.
And it's not political. I don't, yes, we're military, or some of us are retired military, but it's not a political thing. It's who can we help?
Sure.
And through this entire process, we've helped first responders, we've helped former military, we've helped people that weren't even a first responder or military.
So I want to talk a little bit about the kind of walking wounded stigma and stereotypes that historically have existed. So just for a minute here, because I think what inspired me to kind of get you on the podcast in particular was you told me, you said, David, most people who come back from combat now, the wounds you see are not physical.
No, they're not.
And that for me was a big wake-up call, because I was like, because it's obvious when you see it. Someone's missing a limb or has been disabled in some way or has a disability now because of that. But you said that the majority of people coming back is the stuff you can't see.
Yes.
So could you talk about that a little bit for us?
PTSD and TBIs, well, especially PTSD.
What does TBI stand? PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder, right?
TBI, traumatic brain injury.
Traumatic brain injury, okay.
Right. And that could be physical or that could be mental.
Okay.
It all depends on, what happened. And before we even go down this route, people need to understand, why is this like a big deal now? Why is this coming up?
Sure.
A gentleman that I work with explained it to me perfectly. During World War II, how often would people see combat?
I don't actually know.
Okay. If you were in country for 2 years, it was an average, and don't quote me on this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going with what research that I've done and words of mouth from this individual, but people would see combat maybe once a month.
Okay. It's the hurry up and wait kind of thing?
Pretty much, especially during World War II, because they would, especially the air crew, would drop all their bombs, and then now they got to wait for a resupply, so it might be 3 weeks, 4 weeks later before they can actually
run another.
Right.
Got it.
Now, the guys on the ground probably saw it a little bit differently, but same thing. It wasn't every day.
It's not like the offensives happened every single day. There'd be skirmishes every day, but mass.
But the mass stuff was not an everyday operation.
Got it.
Then you go into Vietnam.
Yep.
Okay, in Vietnam, some people were coming back, with a lot of mental issues. But how often were they in combat? Actually seeing combat once every other week. Okay. Now fast forward to 2001, Afghanistan. Operation Enduring Freedom. 2003, Operation Iraqi Freedom. How often were these guys seeing combat?
I can only imagine.
Every freaking day, sometimes twice a day. And these guys would be there for at least a year, knocking down doors, protecting their forward operating bases. They were seeing it on a daily basis. And when you're doing that for an entire year, you come back pretty fucked up.
Got it. Yeah. And it's just the rhythm, how often that's happening, the amount of encounters you have. I can only imagine how that kind of weighs on you. I have friends I didn't serve, and we haven't said it already. You probably hear this all the time. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
But on a real level, we have to remember that these people ultimately, it's military, but ultimately a lot of this stuff is kind of a thankless thing.
Correct. Because we're there because we want to be there.
Mm-hmm.
I initially served for 21 years, and then when I moved to Missouri, I retired from the California Air National Guard.
Got it.
And then a year later, guess what I did? Came back in because I missed the flying.
Got it. And
then retired again in 2003. In 2023. So we're there because we want to be there. It was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And 33 years of flying for me, and
sure,
it was a good time. But it comes with a price.
Yeah, I get that. But now you've tied in. You're now part of the ecosystem in North Kansas City in particular.
Correct.
And so now you have a restaurant. You're involved with the charitable endeavors up that. I want to ask kind of, Now that you're in there, what do you find the most rewarding about Callsign Brewing, about the restaurant and the brewery, all that? What do you really love about it?
I love every aspect to it. I'm not gonna lie. It consumes my life. I've got there was a point in my life where I was still flying for the Air Force. I
Sure.
was still railroading with a Class One railroad here in
Sure.
town, and then I was managing the brewery. So it ate up a lot of my time. But there's nothing I don't love about it. And at the end of the day, yes, sometimes I go to bed extremely tired, a lot of times frustrated. But when I have people coming up to me saying, I appreciate what you do. Thanks for remembering my father. Or I love what you do. Thank you for helping save my life. You cannot put a price on that.
I have to ask, Steve, when you tell me this, I'm like, oh, well, any three jobs you want to have, you can be Steve. You effectively are doing like three full time endeavors, is
Yeah,
what it really looks like. How do you manage that?
I don't know.
Huh.
I hate.
I get it. Well, you're motivated by what you're doing. Okay. Look, man, it's all right. This is a fun show to do that on. Okay. But you definitely feel reward from doing this.
Yes, 100%. Anybody could open up a brewery and be like, "Yeah, I want a brewery, and here's some beer, and uh, and what's your legacy about your brewery?" Well, I serve good beer. Okay, great. Which, not to toot my own horn, but I do feel that my brewery's beer are pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
I've the only people that have ever complained is when people come in and say, "Do you have anything like a light beer from one of these big package companies?" No, but we do have this lager.
Sure.
Okay, that's not what I call real beer. All right. Well, I'm sorry. This is a craft brewery. But to get to the point, that's just half of it. The other half is knowing that I'm making a difference. Listen, when I know that there's one person, and I've heard this 3 times already, one person that says, "You saved my life," my I've got everything I need. I've got a great home. I got a family that loves me. I've got a decent job. I had my military career, which, I've done a lot of wild, crazy stuff, awesome stuff. But when you can give back and have somebody change their outlook on life, all that's worth it. You can't, I can't describe it.
Hmm.
But to make one person change their mind to live a normal life versus being one of the 22 a day.
People listening are going to have you explain that. What is 22 a day?
22 a day, 22 veterans a day will commit suicide.
22 veterans a day commit suicide. That's a lot.
That's too many. That's 22 too many.
Absolutely. And is this because they're just not getting the help? They're not getting the support? A little bit of everything?
Probably a little bit of everything. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't know where to get the help.
Sure.
Some people are too proud to get the help. One thing about being in the military, and especially back in my day, especially back in the younger years, you get hurt. Hey, get up, rub some dirt on it. Let's go.
Got it.
Hey, I'm feeling kind of grumbly or hurt. Hey, just shut up and let's go. I mean, you did not voice your opinion on feelings, or if you needed, minor medical attention. You just went with it, and that's just the how it was.
I think one of the most important things, and look, by the way, Callsign, I've been there. It's not you don't. I mean, to enjoy it. It's a great brewery. They do a lot of fun different events at night, that kind of thing. You don't just have to be a veteran to enjoy it. It's got a good vibe and it's got really good food. But that being said, I think the beer in the conversation is definitely part of it. These are a lot of people who are part of a lot of these people are from that kind of fraternal order.
Right.
And, it sounds like you're inspiring conversation. So you've talked a little bit about the service dogs. I know you guys do a couple of different fundraisers a year, and you guys are also involved with other veteran type charities. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, matter of fact, so you got Veterans Community Project, which is a big one. And we've raised enough money through events. Matter of fact, the donor to this, it turns out to be a friend of ours now,
Mm-hmm.
and it's $12,000 at least a couple years ago for a trailer, for a tiny home. What Veterans Community Project is they will home or they will house a homeless veteran or a veteran that needs help to help rehabilitate them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's not a permanent solution. Bottom line is, all right, if you're going to do this, you're gonna get help,
Yeah.
and to put you back into society, and then that ultimately will go to another veteran that needs the help. So we support them. We've done a couple of events for them where they can raise money and get another trailer built. Now, here in Kansas City, from what I understand, they have max max occupancy at that location, so they started building in other places. So we're still sponsoring them, and they're just putting tiny homes in other states. Another one is Battle Within, and we help them out with events. Hold fundraisers for them. I'm not quite sure how much we've raised for them. I know it's been significant to where they're constantly reaching back out to us, and that's our vibe too. That's what we like to do. And also, you got Dogs with Valor that are now part of Battle Within. So Dogs of Valor used to be Patriot Plus, and they're kind of doing their own thing, and so that way the dogs and what we sponsor stays here in Kansas City. Every third Thursday of every month, we have Defenders of Freedom poker tournament.
Okay.
And that, so you go there, you play poker. You got to buy a seat to get in there, and they have they have auctions, raffles, and that money, 100% of those proceeds, we have an event space upstairs that people rent out for weddings and stuff, and we just donate that room to this cause, and that 100% goes to TBI awareness and recovery.
Excellent.
And we've had them in our location probably almost 2 years now, and they're starting the third year. They started the third year a couple months ago. And I don't know what that number is that we raise for them or help them raise, but it's significant.
So I want to shift gears for a minute. I mean, obviously, it's the KC Leaders podcast, and I like to get entrepreneurs on here, especially ones who are, look, I mean, I can get people on here who run any business, right? But my thing is, on the show, a lot of times we get entrepreneurs on here. We like to talk about what they see coming for Kansas City, what we see happening in the community, how they like being plugged into that, because you guys are kind of the lifeblood of the ecosystem. A lot of people miss that because that really does change things. And I know you're in North KC, but in what other ways do you think you're overall in Kansas City? What do you think? How do you think you're helping contribute to making it a better place to live, play, and work?
To live, play, and work. Well, as far as living, that's on everybody's individual palate. I like to have a great atmosphere so people can come visit the brewery and feel comfortable in their own skin.
Do you get a lot of transient people? Do you get a lot of active military?
Yes, in fact, this is kind of crazy. Mm-hmm. A couple years back, I had somebody come in and they're like, "Yeah, I'm driving up from Maxwell Air Force Base in Alabama back to his home base in Rapid City, South Dakota." He was at the gym and somebody had one of our stickers on his water bottle, and he's like, "I got to go check that place out on my way home," and he stopped in. So yeah, we, especially on the military side, because I kind of blast our stuff on other military Facebook pages.
Sure.
So there's a lot of following going on there. We've got stickers in Japan. We've got stickers all over Europe, and yeah, some of them were put in there by me.
Well, I mean, if you don't do self promotion, what can you do?
Exactly.
Right.
But also a lot of people, I've mailed them stickers, and they just zap the heck out of different pubs in different countries. So what else? The living part, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's North Kansas City. North Kansas City is developing at very, very fast rate. So, I like to be part of that community as it continues to develop. I want them to know that, hey, there's several good breweries here in town, and Callsign Brewing is another good one, and they give back to the community.
Are there any other breweries you'd like to give a shout out for? Like you think you're doing a good job too?
Oh man, there's well, three of them right off the top of my head. Cinderblock Brewing is probably one of my favorites. I've got three favorites.
Okay.
And they're one of them. And especially when I was building my first location, hell, I'd be at their brewery just all dirty, drinking their beer, trying to relax. But great folks, real friendly. You got Casual Animal. Kyle is a down to earth guy. Awesome beer, great atmosphere, and you got Red Crow. More good people and great atmosphere as well. So the thing about the beer brewing community, it's competition, but it's friendly competition.
Got it.
When I thought I was going to have to deploy for something, when I thought I was going to have to deploy for the Ukraine before I retired, I actually had some brewers extend their hand out to me saying, hey, if you wind up deploying for this, let me know and I'll send one of my guys to your brewery if you need the help.
Wow.
So that's how tight niche this community is.
See, that brings me to my next question. It was like, how do you help engage in fostering an aspect of collaboration in the community or in your niche? Because I think that's always, a lot of people will say things like, I built that or whatever it is. And the reality of it is none of us actually do things on our own completely.
No. In fact, getting goosebumps just thinking about this. When I first advertised the concept of opening up my own location, you'd be surprised at how many breweries invited me in to have conversation, help me out, figure out finances, help me with some beer questions. There's a lot of that. I mean, if there was another brewery that decided to open up right next to us, I'd do the same thing. Once again, it's really not going to take business away. If anything, it's going to bring business to us.
Sure.
And I'm not going to forget where I came from. And these guys, these other breweries helped me out tremendously. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for these breweries.
It's actually one of the funny things. A lot of people think about, if you've ever noticed, and I'm only going to use this because I know a lot about the franchise world. Like, do you ever see a franchise like a McDonald's open up and then there's two other businesses that open up in the other corners? Mm-hmm. When you do the analysis on the money, they make more money when the other businesses come in there next to them.
Yeah.
They always do. Because it's become more of a destination now. It attracts more people to it.
Correct.
If they're busy, you get flow over, they get flow, and it's overflow or whatever it is. And I've actually thought about that a lot lately because I think a lot of people enter these companies originally and think, they're on the next corner to me. Look, if there's three great places with food, and one things I want to say, if you're in North KC, Callsign's one of the only places down there that has food after like 6 p.m. And I don't know, like I wish that the other places would get on board. Sorry, not trying to judge any of you guys, but
I can't remember if Cinderblock's doing food. It's been about a year or so since I've been there, just because I've been so stinking busy.
Yeah.
So I don't know what their status is, to be fair. But I know that they did have a food truck in the past.
So I think it's important. Maybe you guys can help lead the way on that because that would just help everything in North KC.
Yes.
Having more of that because North KC is, if you guys have not been there, and look, I live in Kansas City. I think it's a really cool community, but I think North KC is one of those. I'm not even gonna say it's a hidden gem, but it's an area. It's right there at the river. It's got a lot of stuff going on for it. I mean, check it out. You got the Armour Theater down there. I mean, there's a lot of fun things to do in North KC.
Yeah.
And they've started putting in new things. They've got ROK. They've got the rock climbing facilities up there.
And that is ROKC.
Yeah, ROKC. I was like trying to make sure I had the right name for it. I mean, that's pretty cool up there. So there's a lot of really cool things happening there. And then if you want to go downtown, if you want to go down to the crossroads, I mean, you're only like 10 minutes away or 7 minutes. I mean, it's like just down the street.
Yes. I
don't know why there's this whole north-south of the river thing sometimes, People get weird, like heading north. Anyway, it's just a thing.
Now, if we're talking about breweries with food, and here's another shout out. So, Three Halves up in Liberty, that's another good one.
All right.
And they do have food. They do have some really good barbecue. And John, which owns that facility, we're not so much collaborating together, but we store some of his cans over at our place, and when they need help or bags of grain, we got it or they got it. So another shout out.
I wanna ask this question now. This is kind of like always the takeaway. This is usually like the business owners or the individuals who listen to the show. Can you share I hate to call it wisdom, but one piece, one personal experience or a lesson that has significantly shaped your career in perspective? Like you're like, I learned this. This is important. I would love to share this with anybody. Is there one piece of advice you can hand out to people?
The one piece of advice that I'd give anybody, whether they want to open up a brewery or any business, is be prepared. And what I mean by that is I've seen restaurants open with bare minimum and they were closed in several months.
Got it.
You got to have capital. You got to have enough money to keep you going for at least a year. It's going to take a year for people to even recognize you, especially as a new business.
Sure.
And once that takes off, hold on tight. I was lucky enough that the first location was off the beaten path, off of Gentry, and then I partnered up with somebody that wanted to take us to the next level. So I'm the founder and co-owner, and now I've got a partner in this, and that's when we decided to make the move off of Burlington and go big or go home theory.
Yeah.
And honestly, if it wasn't for them, then I don't know where I'd be, because he came in, they came into my life during COVID.
So Steve, I think for our listeners out there, a lot of them aren't aware that during the pandemic, the restaurant, hospitality, anything associated with that they took it on the chin. It was, tons of them just closed.
A lot of restaurants closed, a lot of breweries, bars. The pandemic did a huge number to entrepreneurs. Not your big companies, but a lot of these mom and pop places all dried up. They got to pay their rent too, and then if they can't pay their rent, their landlord's going to find somebody that can.
It's kind of interesting how that happened. So but y'all survived it, and I would say y'all are doing better now than even y'all did before. Right?
Correct. Now during the pandemic, we ended up getting a canning machine, sure. Just a single seamer, so one can at a time machine. It was like $2,000 for this October canning system.
Sure.
And what we wound up doing is throughout the pandemic, that's how we kept the doors open. All of our bartenders became volunteers, and we sold 6-packs out the door. We canned 14,000 cans by hand, one at a time, and that's going to, filling that can, sealing that can, wiping that can down, putting the label, and throw it in the 6-pack.
Wow.
14,000 cans through the COVID pandemic. And that was just barely enough to kind of keep the doors open.
I don't know that these stories about the pandemic will resonate with people a decade from now because they didn't see it. They weren't in it. But one of my businesses, I run a marketing firm, and I think 67% of them went out of business during the pandemic.
It's not surprising.
And people didn't have money for it. That's the first place they scaled back. And for us, I'll just say, we got lucky in a lot of ways. We've done a lot of smart things. Like, it's kind of cool to do the revisionist version of how we survived. We did some really smart things before the pandemic, but they were just luck. It was just we happened to do a couple really clever things like in 2018, 2019 that kept us afloat during the pandemic. But I'd be lying to you to say that we had this plan. Like the way you'd sell it to people now, right, from the marketing standpoint, you were like, well, we saw that, we knew that if there were ever a disruption, it's all BS, man. We didn't know. We got lucky.
Not at that magnitude.
Yeah, we got really lucky. And but I want to say we had a lot of other people. We had some volunteers who helped us out with some stuff. We did some clever things, but a lot of us, we shifted. We did some different things, supplied different things. Anyway, I'm just going to say that, I don't know, a decade from now, business owners will understand. Because if you just started, they've never had that experience.
Correct, yeah.
But so for you guys, now y'all moved up. So do you just have the single canning machine now? What do you do?
Oh, no. My God.
So we're not doing this by hand every single time now.
We were actually in the planning stages during the pandemic with my partner. New partner at the time, and the goal was to find another location off of Gentry Street because it was a destination location. we'd be lucky to see 100 cars a week pass by that
Wow.
location.
Okay, got it.
Versus the location that we're on now at Burlington, which sees 25,000 cars a day.
Okay, very different.
And we decided that, hey, go big or go home. So we went from 3,000 square feet to 23,000 square feet.
Very different.
Huge difference. And now, of course, we had small overhead to extremely large overhead.
Sure.
But we're growing into it, and now we have an actual canning process, a canning line that'll do 3 cans. Let's put it this way: our canning line will do about 40 cases an hour.
Got it.
And we're in distribution now. Right now, just locally in the Kansas City, Missouri, and Kansas area. As of right now, we're still doing self-distribution on the Missouri side. And that's going okay, but there's not a lot of markup in distribution.
Sure.
So for you to make, decent amount of money, you've got to have big amount of accounts.
Got it.
But hopefully we're heading there, and that's the goal. And I'm hoping that one day we'll get as big as being able to deliver 300 cases a week, which once everybody knows about us, gets to taste the beer, and know what our mission is, it'll work.
Got it.
And then eventually I want to get down to the Texas area for distribution to the AFIS, or AFIS, the Army and Air Forces Exchange Services. So if I can get down to Fort Worth, and that's their main distribution, then our beers could practically go all over the world to all these military bases.
I mean, that's a big goal.
That's a huge goal.
But I mean, that's definitely something. I mean, it's if you don't have, and I always tell people, if you don't have big goals, if your goals don't scare you, they're not big enough.
If you want the moon, aim for the stars.
Aim for the stars, because if you miss, you at least end up better than you thought you would.
Yep.
Right. So that being said, you've traveled. You've been all over the world. You've been active duty. You've been deployed overseas. You served in Europe. You were in Afghanistan. You've done a lot. So this is the Kansas City Leaders Podcast. So what do you love most about Kansas City, and what makes it stand out from other places you've been?
It's a little big town.
Yeah.
I grew up just 45 minutes north of New York City.
Got it.
And here in Kansas City, at least it's a slower pace. There's a lot of military retirees that stay here. It's a great location. I mean, everything is still relatively inexpensive to, most of the country. You have everything you need right here. Kansas City's got everything you need in it. I mean, who doesn't like Kansas City? That's my question.
Well, it sounds like the world likes Kansas City right now.
Yes, they do.
We have the World Cup coming in 3 months from the filming date of this pod.
Wow, 3 months.
I know, isn't that crazy? Quick. Well, March, April, May. Yeah, I mean, we're just a little bit over 3 months.
Yep.
So how do you see that? First of all, how are you guys preparing for that?
Well, we know it's going to be crazy. You see, that's another reason why we decided to do the restaurant.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, let's make sure that this restaurant is going to be good and be able to serve the craziness that's going to happen. They're talking, what, 600,000 plus people?
650 is the last number I've heard.
My God.
It's funny. I talked to I've talked to some people who are politically well connected, let's just say.
Sure.
I'm not going to say who you are, because you've asked me to keep this stuff confidential. But I think all of them, it's kind of like when you talk to them, it's like there's a little bit of sweat because when you ask them these questions.
Yeah, you see, this city's not ready for 650,000 people.
No, I don't think we are yet either. So, but we'll manage.
Yeah,
we'll manage.
I mean, at the end, it's going to be like, hey, that was fun, but boy, did that ass whipping hurt.
It was crazy, right? So I think it's interesting. Are you excited for it?
I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, I think it'll be kind of cool. And I think it's going to give us the chance to show, look, the Chiefs have done well, except for the last season. The Chiefs have done
let's not talk about that.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. Okay, the Chiefs and the Royals have won a World Series a while back. But that being no more. Much love to the Kansas City sporting teams out there, but we got the KC Current doing some cool stuff now. I mean, we have the only stadium that's been built for a female soccer team, I think, in North America, is what I was told.
I think that's correct.
Yeah, and I mean, so there's a lot of stuff that we're doing that's kind of putting us on the map, and I think we're doing a lot of stuff the right way. It's exciting. Are there any like in the community? Are there any local leaders or, for lack of a better term, influencers? Like who is inspiring you right now when you get up?
You know, who inspires Steve? I'm going to say the entire world, you know, and that's my problem. I want to rescue the entire world.
Sure.
And that's probably why, you know, sometimes I'm like just so tired at the end of the day. Right now, the biggest motivator that I've got is my wife, my son. My son's 33 years old, and I've got a grandson too. And
Wow.
I just want to be their heroes.
Sure.
Everybody else, you know, I'm going to treat everybody else with the same kind of respect. But my motivation is, you know, the smile on their faces. Home is where it starts,
Sure.
and from there it just, you know, flows. And as far as leaders, that, you know, there is one gentleman that is always on the back of my mind, and it's kind of cool because I worked with him. I worked with him in California on helicopters, so he too was a flight engineer. And this gentleman happened to be one of the co-founders of Yahoo. And after September 11th, he joined, and he was too old to become a pilot. And trust me, he's got the credentials to become a pilot because he already is one.
Got it.
So he did the next best thing is he became a flight engineer on rescue helicopters. And shout out to Troy Downing. He's he owns a couple good businesses now, and right now he actually is the congressman of District 2 in Montana.
Okay.
So he was just elected into Congress this past term, and I guess I could say I look up to him because of you know, he started with nothing. And in fact, he even took a look at my initial business plan.
Wow.
Tore it to bits. He's like, yeah, it has good bones though. It's like, thanks, Troy. But you know, it's okay. It's okay to be honest because you're never going to get anywhere when people are kissing your butt saying, "Oh yeah, that looks good." That no. When that happens, you're not going anywhere. It's okay to be told that sucks.
Yeah.
And he kind of did that, and that's okay.
That being said, how do you see the future of KC? I mean, you're embedded in the ecosystem here now. You've got a company, you've got a brewery. How do you see the future? What do you see Kansas City going, and what role do you hope to play in that future?
You know, Kansas City is going to continue to grow. As a matter of fact, since I've been here, and I've been in Kansas City since 2010, and the momentum it has gained since then, it just continues to add.
Yeah.
And it's getting bigger and bigger. I mean, just with all the new sports complexes since I've moved here that are popping up, the new amphitheater.
Yeah.
That's going to be another big one.
That's out in that's in Riverside.
Correct.
On the north side of the river, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to continue to do that, and it's going to gain even more momentum. So right now it's going like, for example, 100 miles an hour. Well, next year it's going to be 120 miles an hour. The year after that, 150 miles an hour. It's just going to keep gaining momentum, and I think that this city's going to get bigger and bigger. It's a great place.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a great place to open up a business. You know, Clay County, which is where the county that we're in, is great to deal with. They're easy to deal with. North Kansas City folks are easy to deal with. They all know us.
Yeah.
They all know what we do with the brewery. So if I ever have an issue at the city, you know, it's hey Steve, what can we do? How can I help you? I mean, even the state tobacco and alcohol regulators, calling them up. Hey Steve, what can we do for you? Matt Brantner, which runs that agency now out of Independence. If I ever had a question, I mean, even if I was doing something wrong, I feel like I could tell him what we're doing. He'd be like, no, you can't be doing that. That's never happened though. And then get on the right course. But anyways, to answer your question, this is just if you're going to open up a business and if you want to grow, Kansas City is a place to do it because it's getting bigger and bigger. Where do I see us during all this? You know, I started off the brewery with a 10-barrel brewing system, so 20 kegs.
Got it.
Or 310 gallons.
Got it.
Choose your candy. For this location, we bought a 20 barrel system in the hopes that by now it would be actually used. Well, we're not using it yet, but I think we're just on the cusp of being able to turn those on, uh, and hopefully after this year, we're going to have to start doing 20 barrel batches
Got it.
because of the distribution, because of how many people are going to visit Kansas City, and because of how many people are going to visit us. I've got hopes that, not just through recognition with the local community, but my outreach is hopefully people are going to start watching my podcast and saying, okay, this is being filmed at Callsign Brewing. Look at all the posters in the background. Let's go check it out. And then all of a sudden, my beers are winding up in St. Louis, in Oklahoma City, in Dallas, Des Moines. And then by that time, heck, we're going to probably need a 50 barrel system.
So let's talk about that. I know we're coming to the end of the episode. I got a couple of questions I always ask my victims. I mean, I ask my ask my guests. It's like, what word am I supposed to use here? Anyway, I have a couple of questions I ask my victims. I mean, my guests. And so, first of all, you said that you've got your own podcast you're about to launch. Why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about that?
I've been wanting to start a podcast for a while now, and a couple years back, American Brewed is what I wanted to actually start with, and that was going to be before I even started brewing, just going from brewery to brewery, recording them, and just having a YouTube episode or YouTube channel of breweries across America. I wanted to reignite that flame a couple years back, but I got some footage. Nothing really materialized, but the concept now would have still been about beer, but also kind of hero stories and PTSD stories. So over the last couple of months, I've been putting a lot of resources together to finally make this happen. And we still have the roundtable for your brewery BS sessions and talk about just beer in general. But now we've got the intimate setting in front of the brewing equipment called Silent Valor. And what that's going to be about is it's going to be about hero stories and PTSD survival stories. And everybody loves a good feel-good story. Some, fireman rescued a kid from a tree, right? Just good stuff like that to let you know that, humans are still human beings. But on the backside of that, your PTSD survival stories, having people on the show that have survived PTSD and that are willing to discuss how they survived it, what steps that they went through. And the biggest thing is PTSD awareness. A lot of times, a lot of folks don't realize that there's avenues that they can go through. You don't have to live it by yourself. There's help. You just need to be able to recognize that you're not alone and there's help out there. And for the more shows that we put out there, hey, I could relate to this guy. That's what I was going. Man, I need help, guys. Help me. And once again, if we could help one person from hurting themselves, we did our thing. Could you imagine if we were able to help 10 people, 100 people? The more stories that we have out there that, first of all, a lot of these stories are interesting. There's usually a lot of good stories before, and then there's the endeavor about what they experience, and there's always a feel good story about these PTSD stories about this is how I recovered. This is what I did to make myself better. And people watching should be able to relate. And all it takes is just that one person that you can recognize that, hey, this is exactly like what I'm going through. Help me.
When do you plan to drop episodes of the show?
I actually have about 20 people that are willing to be on it now.
Okay.
And I'm hoping to film the first one in 2 weeks.
Okay.
And before all the festivities in 3 months, I want to try and have at least 6 episodes done and release them in 2-week increments.
So maybe first episodes maybe in April sometime?
April, that. See, I kind of got a feeling this is you kind of trapped me.
I'm not trapping you. You can say the 5th of never, but I may come knock on your door and say, hey man, what's up?
Actually, what I love about you is you're holding our feet to the fire with several things, and for that, I think we discussed that earlier.
Got it.
And once again, I'm forever grateful. Thank you.
My pleasure.
So the first one being released before the festivities start.
Okay, before the festivities start. Okay, we'll see if we can get that in April. This is like asking somebody if they're running for president. It's like, well, I haven't ruled it out, but
Yep.
I might, maybe. No, we're gonna make you do it. We're gonna get this rolling. It's important. It's important. It's part of the mission.
Absolutely.
It's part of what you're doing.
Actually, it is part of the mission of Callsign Brewing.
Absolutely.
We do have a mission, and helping people is our biggest mission. We can make beer. We can make beer all day long, but at the end of the day, what did we accomplish? Hey, we stopped somebody from hurting themselves.
So, one question: no one ever gets off the show alive without answering this question. Best barbecue in Kansas City.
Oh man, you're gonna get me killed here.
No, I'm sorry, man. You're here. You cannot leave until you say something.
I'm just gonna go out and say that Wolfpack, Jared Wolf, when he was at Callsign, probably had the best brisket I've ever had in my life.
And where can we go get? Where is this at?
So Wolfpack Barbecue is down in the Crossroads, and Jared now works for Three Halves over in Liberty.
Got it.
So he's helping them out, and the brisket there is just as good. And Jared's still there. He kicks butt.
Okay.
I mean, he's an artist when it comes to his food.
So if you want to get that brisket, you have to go to Three Halves now to get it.
Three Halves now.
Oh.
And of course, Wolfpack is still open. It's just under new ownership, pretty much, if you will.
That's fine. Well, what we'll do is we're about to, for listeners out there, we're going to embed a map. We've talked about this. We teased it about a while back, and we finally built it. We're going to actually have a map with destinations for all the different, and we're going to have little notes on there for who said it was, really good, et cetera, on the show. It's funny. Everybody has their own thing. Some people, we had a vegan person on the show at one point, and they couldn't talk about barbecue, but they talked about the mac and cheese or whatever it was. Which it's a consolation prize, but you're okay with it.
Yeah,
you can get out with that, I guess. So with that, Steve Sirois, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show today. It's been my great pleasure to get to talk to you today.
I want to thank you. Appreciate
it. For those of you out there listening, look for more cool episodes of KC Leaders dropping weekly. And hope to see you out there. Until we see you again, be well, do good work, and go make a mess of things out. Thanks.
Thank you for listening to the KC Leaders Podcast. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen. For more information about this podcast, you can visit kcleaderspodcast.com. And don't forget to check out our other great podcasts like The Buck Stops Here, streaming now on all major platforms and at thebuckstopsherepodcast.com.